Welcome to the newest episode of the Favorite Self podcast. I'm your host, Alyssa Luce, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. This episode is all about acceptance. Acceptance is the agreement or belief in an idea or the action of consenting to receive. Now, acceptance is super important if you want to become your favorite self. And every episode on this podcast is all about how to become a person you are proud of being, that you are completely in love with, and you feel fulfilled every day. Acceptance really starts with one thing, and that's with believing in who you are. And to go slightly deeper than that, you must first know who you are. You must be aware. If someone were to come up to you and ask you, who are you? Most people will respond with their name. Some people will respond with what they do. I'm a fisher. I'm a farmer. I'm an artist. Most people wouldn't even know how to respond to that question. Now, before this episode is over, I want you to either type in your phone or grab a piece of paper and write down that question. Who am I? And this is probably going to be the most philosophical question you will ever ask yourself in your life. And once you're able to define the answer clearly and an answer that feels good in your heart, that's when you know you've reached a point of acceptance. Now, why is acceptance even important, and why do you need it to become your favorite self? You have to take 100% responsibility and understand that every single thing, every single circumstances, every single opportunity, every single person in your life is there because of who you are. It is there because of what you have attracted. It is there because you want it there. And some people are going to be like, Alyssa, I do not want to be broke. I do not want to be in this job. I do not want to do this, and that. Guess what? You attracted that because you're focusing on what you don't want. And the more you focus on something, the greater it expands. Now, when you accept full responsibility, when you accept that your circumstances are within your demand and control, when you accept that you are the creator of your entire life, you are winning. You are able to create anything that you want, attract any circumstance, any opportunity, any person, anything you can possibly dream up. You have to first accept that you're even able to do that. That's why I said in the beginning, you have to accept who you are. You have to accept the fact that you are a creator. You have to accept the fact that you are a human being that has freedom of will and freedom to create. You have to accept your freedom. Most people in today's society are complacent. They're afraid. They are sheeple. They follow what they're told to do, and they play out a story that is already written for them. The ending is already determined, and as long as they continue to follow the script to the T, they're never going to get anywhere in their life. They're never going to get anything that they want. They may get some comfortability, right? They may have a pension. They may have, SSI coming in every month. They may get food stamps, Section 8, whatever. They maybe even get a 401k and health insurance, the things that society makes you believe is important. But what if you accept some of the most important things life will ever give you are completely free? Like relationships with other people. The ability to breathe every day, to open your eyes, to wake up, to walk. Some people don't even have legs. They're bound to a wheelchair, or if they can even afford a wheelchair. Some people don't even get clean water to drink. Some people can't even afford a phone or a device to listen to this podcast right now. Some people cannot wake up and go to work every day because they're permanently disabled. Some people can't even wake up every day because they're in a coma. Do you understand how lucky you are? You have to accept you are blessed and highly favored in every single moment of your life. You have to accept that you are destined to be amazing. You were created to change the world, to change the script that was written from the moment you were born. okay? Depending on where you were born. Let's say if you were born in America like me, you already have a pre-planned destination, okay? You were given a birth certificate, you were given a social security number, you were given vaccinations and a medical history, you were given a public school to go to, maybe your parents were given a job that they can afford private school or whatever kind of schooling that isn't public. Maybe you even got homeschooled, who knows? The point is, you were indoctrinated. You were educated on what was so-called necessary to be able to be a functioning member of society, right? You learned how to read, you learned how to write, you learned how to do math, you learned a little bit of history, you learned a little bit of science, maybe some arts, and you were told that you have to grow up, get a job, get a degree, and be of service to society. I don't know about you. I opposed so much. I was going to curse, but I changed my mind because that's not who I am anymore. I oppose that lifestyle completely. From the moment I can make my own decisions at about 7 years old, I was a naysayer. I was, as my mom loved to say, a girl who beats to her own drum. Because I realized I have a choice. And most times when you really pay attention, when you are aware, you notice some options are hidden. They're hidden in plain sight too. It's not like they're invisible completely or completely impossible to achieve. They're just never options that are presented in plain view. And you really have to question things and assert a kind of curiosity to make other options aware, to make them possible. But if you are accepting that you create everything instead of just accepting that people create everything for you and you have to follow suit, you open up the door to receive. You make your life a funnel for beauty, opportunity, freedom, anything that you want. Just because you decided to do what your heart felt good doing, to think using your mind, to ask questions, to really consider that possibilities are endless. And you don't have to follow what everyone else does. You can create any life you want. And I know I'm getting a little bit repetitive here, but I think it's because most people will draw back on that idea. Most people think life is predestined, predetermined, their circumstances are completely out of their control. But I need you really to understand and accept that you control everything in your life. Start with accepting you are 100% responsible for everything. And then the next time that you get upset, the next time that you feel cheated, the next time that you feel powerless, you realize you have all the power. You accept the fact that you can change in that moment, that instant, your circumstances will change. And I feel like this is really where success happens. Success is just a decision away. And if you decide to let the world dictate how you live your life, or you decide to let your circumstances hold you back from pursuing your dreams, or if you decide to let anybody else steal your dreams, you're deciding to be a failure. And that is perfectly fine if you're happy that way. By all means, be happy with the life that you have. Accept that you created it. However, if you're going to let someone else steal your dreams, if you're going to let society hold you back from pursuing what you really want to do, if you're going to let your circumstances keep you limited and bounded and complain and be upset, this is where we draw the line. We cannot have complainers. We cannot have people that are ungrateful. We cannot have people who feel powerless, because you aren't powerless. You were not created to be a follower. You were not created to be weak. Do you understand how strong your body is? Not strength-wise, like I can lift 50 pounds. I'm talking in a cellular aspect. How your heart beats for you every single second. So you can get air into your lungs, so that you can move every single muscle in your body, so that you can digest food and all the toxins and pollutants that are in our environment, so that you can continue to thrive every day. Your body is working for you. You are created in the image of beauty, of life, of an actual king or queen, whatever you resonate with. You are special. You are amazing. You have to accept that. You have to accept all the good, and you have to accept all the things that you want to change. And you have to accept that you can change them. Once you accept that it's possible to change, that's when change really happens. But if you keep dwelling on the things that you don't like, and you keep dwelling on the things that are not in your favor, that's what you'll get more of. Now, a lot of times people don't understand how attraction works. And I'm going to break it down to you very simply. Your brain can transmit and receive information, right? When you're learning, when you're thinking, when you're feeling emotions. Your brain is an electrical organ. It sends electricity throughout your body to create reactions, to feel things. Your brain is also an image associating organ, right? Because your eyes are directly connected to your brain. Now, when you think of anything, you are sending out electrical energy, electrical frequencies, electrical vibrations, and you are going to receive exactly what you're sending out. Now, this is one of the permanent laws of the universe, like gravity, right? If you continue to focus on what you don't want, if you can continue to think about things that you don't like, this is what you're sending out on an electrical frequency, and this is what you're receiving back as real life circumstances. So anytime you look around your life, whether you're listening in this moment and you had a bad day, bad week, bad month, or bad experience in general, or later on after you're listening to this and something happens and you're like, why me? Why did this happen? I want you to stop, and I want you to, in that moment, accept, I attracted this to myself. And really think about how. Because once you become aware, that's when you can at least try not to do it again. You can at least work on what are the things you're attracting in your life. You can at least try and attract different things, right? A lot of times we set goals for ourselves and we really, really want things to happen, but we just don't know how it would even be possible. But when you think about it enough times in the affirmative, right? Like, I want this, I'm going to get this, I can't wait to have this. That's when you'll meet somebody, you'll go somewhere, or you'll do something, and next thing you know, you are possessing the thing you wanted so badly. And then there's other times where it's fearful of not being able to achieve the thing you want. Or there's doubting of why you can't get what you want. In these moments, I want you to accept that not everything is up to you to get. If you really just begin to attract, if you really just begin to believe that it's possible for you to have the things you want, and accept that your job in this law of attraction is simply to think about having it, And not about how to get it, but simply just think of how good you will feel when you have the thing you want. You will begin to get more of the things you want. So, once again, I want you to write down the question, who am I? And when you write down this question and you ponder the answer, think about who you want to be remembered as. Think about who you want to be recognized as. Think about how you want other people to feel when they're around you. Think about how you want to be perceived by the people you like, or by your boss, or maybe, your crush, or your spouse if you have one, your partner or whatever. Maybe even by your friends. How do you want them to think about you? Or when they introduce you, how do you want them to talk about you? And really consider if you match that description. And if you don't, I want you to accept the fact that you can change that. And you can be that person you want to be known as, right? Whoever you are, whoever you think you are, you're right. So if you think you're a bad person, you're right. If you think you're a good person, you're right. Whatever you think, you are right. Now, I want to thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. And if you have any questions, send me an email at faveselfpod@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to answer. I want you to accept that you are amazing, that you are a creator, that you are powerful in every moment, and accept yourself as whoever you are right now, because you are already loved. And I'll talk to you next time on the Favorite Self podcast.